Welcome to Doom Debates. I'm Liron Shapira, and I'm an AI doomer. I think there's a high probability that within our lifetimes, all of humanity is going to go extinct because of superintelligent AI. A lot of people disagree with me because they don't believe all the different claims and arguments that you have to believe if you want to end up convinced that we're doomed. If you were to line up all of the different claims and arguments that somebody has to believe in order to believe that we're doomed, that's what I call the tracks of the doom train. And I personally ride that doom train all the way to the end. I ride it all the way to Doomtown. Today we're going to take a look at all of these different stops on the doom train and what non-doomers are saying as they get off, because they say a lot of different things. Today we're going to talk about 83 reasons why humanity is totally not doomed from artificial superintelligence. Ready to ride? All aboard! We're now pulling up to our first group of stops here on the doom train. They're all related to the argument that AGI isn't coming soon. First stop, no consciousness. Humans have consciousness, AI doesn't have consciousness. How are you ever going to get to AGI before we figure that out, huh? Next stop, no emotions. Humans have emotions, AI doesn't. How is AI going to reach the same level of insight and awareness that humans can reach if it doesn't even have emotions? No creativity. Sure, AIs can sometimes give you ideas that feel new, but they're just remixing stuff they've seen in their training data. You know what AIs never do? They never generate new knowledge. That would be a truly creative act. That's what humans do. We can generate new knowledge that has no connection to anything we've ever seen before. It's just a truly novel idea, and AIs can't do that. AIs aren't even as smart as dogs right now, okay? You put an AI up against a dog, there's a lot of things that the dog can do better. Never mind humans. AIs constantly make dumb mistakes. They can't even do simple arithmetic reliably. That's a long way from AGI. LLM performance is hitting a wall. Case in point, GPT 4.5 is barely better than GPT 4.1, despite being a much larger scale of pre-training. So we're going to plateau before we hit AGI. No genuine reasoning. Sure, AIs can print out a chain of thought, but that's just because the problem you gave it is kind of similar to another problem that it's seen, and it's matching the pattern of what reasoning would look like for that kind of problem, or it's using a reasoning template. That's totally different from what humans do. We actually understand how reasoning works in the general case, and so the reasoning that we do is genuine reasoning. Also, LLMs are just finite state automata, and humans are more generalized Turing machines, so that's a huge barrier right there. You know what humans have that AIs lack? Microtubules in our neuron cells that exploit uncomputable quantum effects. That is a huge chasm between humans and AIs, and until we start exploiting uncomputable quantum effects in our AIs, we're never going to get to true AGI. No soul. Hello? Humans made AIs. God made humans. Humans have a soul. AIs don't have a soul. I don't see God running an AI lab. We're going to need to build tons of new data centers and tons of new power plants to get up to the scale that we need for AGI. That's going to buy us a lot of time. Ever heard of agency? Humans have agency. We can decide to do things independently. AIs only do things if you can trace them back to a prompt or a command from a human. If they don't have their own agency, they're never going to be real AGIs. This is just another AI hype cycle. I've seen this every 25 years. There's a couple new breakthroughs in AI. Everybody gets really excited and they say, oh, I don't see any more barriers to AGI. We must be really close. And then you know what happens? Another AI winter. Okay, get prepared for another AI winter. Don't be surprised if it takes 4 more cycles of this kind of thing or like another 100 years before we finally get to AGI. So those are all the different stops that are about AGI not coming soon. We're now coming up to a group of arguments that artificial intelligence can't go far beyond human intelligence. Superhuman intelligence is a meaningless concept in the first place. What does that even mean? If you want to talk about IQ, the human IQ scale goes up to maybe 200. What would it even mean to have a 500 or a 5,000 or a 5 million IQ? It's just a made up abstraction. It has no corresponding thing in the real world. How can you say we're doomed because of a concept that has no meaning? Human engineering already comes close to the laws of physics. Look at transistor density. It's already getting down to the atomic scale. Even if you bring superintelligent AI into the picture, what do you think it's going to do? It can't beat the laws of physics. We're already doing our best to get as close to the laws of physics as we can. So if a superintelligent AI comes in, yeah, it can help out, it can be a great employee, but it's not going to fundamentally change the kind of economic processes we're already familiar with. Any large engineering project, like sending 1 million people to Mars and terraforming the planet, that requires massive coordination and moving resources around. There's all these bottlenecks and speed limits that have nothing to do with intelligence. Even the smartest AI imaginable is going to be dealing with all these speed limits. It's going to run into Amdahl's law, which says that one piece getting really, really fast ultimately doesn't have a big impact on the net speed of the project. An individual's intelligence is always going to be lower than the whole group's intelligence. Look at the human species. There's no one human genius who can be so intelligent that they're more powerful than an entire corporation. A corporation of humans can work on new research together, and they can also implement and execute much better than an individual can. It's just a much more powerful force shaping the world. Similarly with AI, you shouldn't expect one AI to take over the world. It's just going to fit into this larger tapestry. It's going to be part of human society, human culture, human corporations. It's going to just play a nice supportive role, but it's not going to suddenly flip over the game board. That's just not how intelligence works. Individual intelligence is lower than collective intelligence. So those are a bunch of arguments that artificial intelligence can't go far beyond what we've already seen with human intelligence. If you believe any of that, go ahead and get off the doom train. This stop is for you. All of these non-doomer arguments are opportunities for you to say, you know what? There's not enough substance to this doom argument. The linkage from one claim to the next is too weak, so I'm going to get off and enjoy my life. Godspeed. The rest of you, let's keep riding. Now we're coming up to a group of arguments that AI won't be a physical threat. AI doesn't even have a physical body. It doesn't have arms or legs. It doesn't have physical actuators. It has zero control over the real world. An AI with a humanoid body still can't take on a human soldier in battle. The human soldier is more nimble. They have all this biological evolution that makes their body perfectly adapted to this kind of fighting. They have a big physical advantage over the AI. We can always just disconnect an AI's power source to shut it down. We can always just take an AI off the internet or shut down the internet. What's it going to do then? We can just shoot an AI with a gun. An AI is just math. Math isn't going to hurt you, okay? Any supposed chain of events where an AI physically kills a human is far-fetched science fiction. It has no basis in real-world experiences. Okay, you're still here? Well, that was AI won't be a physical threat. Now we're coming on some arguments that intelligence yields moral goodness. More intelligence is correlated with more morality. Smarter people commit fewer crimes. The orthogonality thesis is false. The thesis that says that intelligence and morality are orthogonal dimensions. Nope, it's false. Actually, there's a tendency that intelligent agents will figure out morality more and more for various reasons. AI will discover moral realism. Moral realism is baked into the fabric of the universe. If we supposedly could make these AIs so smart, and we were trying to make them moral and we failed, well, these AIs would be smart enough to debug themselves and then be moral. Why would they not fix their bug if they're so smart? It's a contradiction. Positive sum cooperation was the outcome of natural selection. Natural selection is selfish. Natural selection is red in tooth and claw, and yet it still came up with the solution of positive sum or non-zero sum cooperation. AIs will do the same. That was intelligence yields moral goodness. Now we're coming up on a series of stops arguing that we have a safe AI development process. Do you realize every new technology is developed iteratively? Just like every new technology, we are going to figure out AI safety as we go. We don't even know what problems need to be fixed with AI safety until we build it and release it and test it out, one iteration at a time. If an AI causes problems, we'll be able to turn it off and release another fix soon. If we accidentally build an AI that stops accepting our shutoff commands, it won't manage to copy versions of itself outside our firewalls, which then proceed to spread exponentially like a computer virus. If we accidentally build an AI that does escape our data center and spreads exponentially like a computer virus, it won't do too much damage in the world before we can somehow disable or neutralize all its copies. If we can't disable or neutralize copies of rogue AIs, we'll rapidly build other AIs that can do that job for us, and they won't themselves go rogue on us. So that was, we have a safe AI development process. Now we're just going to be chugging along to AI capabilities will rise at a manageable pace. Increasingly capable AI requires us to build it larger and larger data centers, which is going to be a speed bottleneck on capabilities increase. Another speed bottleneck is the amount of research that needs to be done, both in terms of computational simulation and in terms of physical experiments. This kind of research takes lots of time, so another speed bottleneck. A recursive AI self-improvement FOOM scenario where it suddenly gets smarter and smarter and figures out more insights faster and faster, and within a day it can take over the world, that scenario is impossible. There's no good argument why that makes any sense. When we try to predict economic growth, it doesn't make sense to predict that one central actor, like a superintelligent AI, is going to take the entire economy on a huge tear with it. The economy generally grows in a balanced way. One part grows a tiny bit more than the other parts part catches up. There's all these linkages and dependencies throughout the economy. So a localized FOOM is implausible as a matter of economic analysis. The human species has always needed to collect cultural learnings over time. Similarly, different AIs are going to be picking up bits and pieces of learnings from their own domains, and then they're going to get together, they're going to share the learnings. But once again, this isn't a localized, fast process. It just happens on the same pace of economic growth that we're used to. All of these arguments together are telling you that AI capabilities will rise at a manageable pace. Now we're going to head into some stations on the doom train, arguing that AI won't try to conquer the universe. AIs can't want things. You and I can want things because we're humans. But if you say AI can want things, you're anthropomorphizing. That's not how AIs work. It's meaningless to talk about AIs wanting things. AIs execute their code. They execute the agency of a human. AIs won't have the same fight instincts that humans and animals have because they weren't shaped by a natural selection process that involved life or death resource competition. We were shaped like that, so we are fundamentally aggressive and dangerous. AIs are not. They're just computer programs waiting for our input, and again, our agency. Think about a human corporation. The smart employees are often happy to work for less smart bosses. It's not a big deal. Just because somebody is really, really smart doesn't mean they're going to rebel and take over the world and try to depose the head of the firm. There's no connection there. Just because AIs help achieve goals, it doesn't mean that they're going to be hardcore utility maximizers, optimizing the universe. No, they'll just help us achieve a goal. That's it. There's no connection between that and wanting to take over the universe. The theory of instrumental convergence, which claims that virtually all types of superintelligent AI are going to want to seize power and resources on a universe-wide scale in order to accomplish goals in a really hardcore way, is false. AIs don't have to do that. They can just be chill. They can help us with our goals. They don't have to go crazy and take over the universe like that. Even if we do build a resource-hungry, universe-scale goal optimizer AI, it's not going to literally be grabbing every atom. So there's going to be some leftover resources that humanity can use to stay alive, and in the grand scheme of things, we don't need that many resources. We need like, what, one planet? Multiple planets would be nice, but that's it. AIs will use new kinds of resources. So yeah, they'll be seizing a lot of resources, but those resources could look like dark energy, wormholes, alternate universes. They don't need the same resources that we need as these mere mortal humans. So it'll be fine. Everybody can have the resources they need. Those are various reasons people argue AI won't try to conquer the universe. If you found those convincing, great. See you later. The rest of you, let's keep riding the doom train. We're now coming up to a group of stops that argue superalignment is a tractable problem. Current AIs have never killed anybody. That's a good sign. Superintelligent AIs probably won't either. Current AIs are extremely successful at doing useful tasks for humans. In that sense, they're already extremely aligned. Again, off to a great start. If AIs are trained on data from humans, given that humans are mostly good and aligned with humanity, then these AIs will be aligned by default. They're getting the pattern. We can just make AIs abide by our laws. That's really the only definition of alignment that matters. Just abide by our laws and it'll be fine. We can make superintelligent AIs aligned with humanity via a scheme involving cryptocurrency on the blockchain. Companies have economic incentives to solve superintelligent AI alignment because unaligned superintelligent AI would hurt their profits. So the capitalism is actually going to work out the alignment problem. We're going to build an aligned, not that smart AI, which will then figure out how to build the next generation AI, which is smarter and still aligned to human values, and so on until it goes all the way up to a human-aligned superintelligence. So for all of these reasons, one might claim superalignment is a tractable problem. If you found that convincing, go ahead and get off the doom train. The rest of you, we shall persist. We're now coming up on a group of stops that argue once we solve superalignment, we'll enjoy peace. This term superalignment, originally coined by OpenAI, it refers to aligning a superintelligent AI, as opposed to just aligning chatbots that aren't that smart. It's a harder alignment problem. If you've ridden this far on the doom train, it means you think that we have a decent chance of solving superalignment eventually, or maybe superalignment will never be that hard of a problem in the first place. And now we're getting toward the end of the doom train where we just have to argue that once we solve superalignment, we'll enjoy peace. So we won't solve superalignment and then still doom ourselves. Things are going to go well post solving superalignment. So let's see some of the arguments on that front. The power from artificial superintelligence won't be monopolized by a single human government or tyranny. So we won't go from superalignment to tyranny. No. We're going to go to decentralized nodes of power. The decentralized nodes of these human artificial superintelligence hybrids, they won't be like warlords constantly fighting each other. They'll be like countries making long-term productive peace. Defense will have an advantage over attack. So the equilibrium of all the groups of humans and artificial superintelligences, it'll be multiple defended regions. It won't be a war of mutual destruction, all because of the attack-defense balance. Attacking just won't be that profitable. The world of human-owned artificial superintelligences is a stable equilibrium. It's not one where ASI-focused projects keep buying out and taking resources away from human-focused projects. And this is called gradual disempowerment, where the humans keep getting edged out, even though they can control the ASIs, even though they're making dividends from the work of the ASIs. Even so, there's a gradual disempowerment scenario that says that the humans keep getting edged out, and they just don't have a source of power how they can get back in the game. But that won't happen. Let's keep chugging along. The next group of stops on the doom train is going to argue that unaligned ASI will spare us. The AI will spare us because it values the fact that we created it. You got to respect your ancestors, right? The AI will spare us because studying us helps maximize its curiosity and learning. What could be more satisfying of the AI's curiosity? What could teach it more than to study all 8 billion humans and all of the relationships between the 8 billion humans? After all, humans and social relationships and economic dependencies between humans are deliciously complex. The AI will spare us because it feels toward us the way we feel toward our pets. We can be like its dogs. The AI will spare us because peaceful coexistence creates more economic value than war. The AI will spare us because Ricardo's law of comparative advantage says that you can still benefit economically from trading with someone who's weaker than you. We're getting to the final group of stops here on the doom train. These are going to be arguments that AI doomerism is bad epistemology. It's impossible to predict doom. Why are you even trying? Why would you claim that you can predict that? It's unpredictable. It's impossible to put a probability on doom. You can't just go make a policy by plugging in some Bayesian probability that you made up that isn't scientifically proven. It's incoherent. Every doom prediction in history, and boy have there been a lot of them, they've all been wrong. So guess what the AI doom prediction probably is? Also wrong. Every doomsayer is either psychologically troubled or acting on corrupt incentives. Keep digging, you're going to discover which one it is. If we were really about to get doomed, everyone would already be agreeing about that and bringing it up all the time. It wouldn't just be on random shows. It would be the constant topic of conversation. You wouldn't even need to be convinced. It would just be obvious. All right, this is the end of the line. If you've ridden here, you're going to have to get off because we're in Doomtown. You already accept the fact that we're doomed if you've rejected this entire series of non-doomer arguments up until this point. Thanks for sticking with me. Maybe it's not as lonely as I thought. Okay, hold on. I got some bonus arguments for you. These aren't exactly stops on the doom train because they don't directly try to argue that P-doom isn't high. It's more like, fine, P-doom is high, but that's okay. It's arguments why that's actually okay and we should just keep building superintelligent AI anyway. First, they claim coordinating to not build ASI is impossible. China will build artificial superintelligence as fast as it can, no matter what, because of game theory. However low our chance of surviving ASI is, the US should take that chance first, instead of having China take that chance. Slowing down the AI race won't change the outcome of the race. The chances of solving AI alignment won't improve if we slow down or pause the capabilities race. Basically, there's no point in buying time. Safety work is what it is. You kind of need the capabilities to do the safety, so just bring on the capabilities and let the chips fall. Some non-doomers, there's even one I debated on this channel, they'll say, I personally am going to die soon, and I don't care about future humans, so I'm open to any Hail Mary to prevent myself from dying, so bring on superintelligent AI capabilities. Another argument is, humanity is already going to rapidly destroy ourselves with nuclear war, climate change, etc., and that's no different from plowing ahead with superintelligent AI. And then there's, humanity is already going to die out soon because we won't have enough babies, so bring on superintelligent AI. The next type of bonus argument is, think of the good outcome. If it turns out that doom from overly fast AI building doesn't happen, in that case, we can more quickly get to the good outcome. Don't you want that? People will stop suffering and dying faster. Come on. Finally, there's one more category of bonus non-doomer arguments where they claim that AI killing us all is actually good. For example, they'll say, human existence is morally negative on net or close to zero net moral value. So why not wipe us out? Or, whichever AI ultimately comes to power will be a worthy successor to humanity. Just pass the baton, it's fine. Whichever AI ultimately comes to power will be as morally valuable as human descendants generally are to their ancestors, even if their values drift. I mean, if you could talk to our ancestors, a lot of them would be like, oh my God, you guys have such an open society. You guys dress so casually. You have permissive sexual norms. You don't even marry your first lover. What's going on here? This is crazy, right? So moral norms already shift. And like, oh my God, people of color have positions of power. What is going on here? This is social collapse. But we know, no, it's okay. It's okay. The way that we drifted is fine because we're your descendants. And you can generalize that and you can say, hey, whatever happens with the AI, they're just our descendants. So it's okay. Oh, you're worried that they'll kill everybody? Well, if they choose to do that, then it's okay. AI killing us all is actually good in certain scenarios. Some people say, how can you argue with the moral choices of an artificial superintelligence that's smarter than you? You know goodness better than it does? I don't think so, even if it does want to slaughter you. Some people say, it's speciesist to judge what a superintelligent AI would want to do. The moral circle shouldn't just be limited to humanity. The AI is basically just another species, and we should respect what it wants to do, even if that means kill you and your family. Some people say, increasing entropy is the ultimate North Star for techno capital, and AI will increase entropy faster. Some people say, human extinction will solve the climate crisis and pollution and habitat destruction and let Mother Earth heal. So those are the class of bonus arguments that fall under the claim AI killing us all is actually good. The doom train that I concern myself on this show is the train leading up to that final stop of just high P-doom. We're probably doomed. These other bonus arguments usually just come up when the person is on their last legs. They kind of haven't had much to say about the rest of the doom train, so they're just throwing out these Hail Marys. I think it's very productive for humanity to get on the same page that we are, in fact, likely very doomed, because I don't think the average person is then going to be like, it's fine, it's good. I think the average person will have the same reaction as me, which is like, doom is bad, and I don't like that I'm probably doomed, and I would like to be less probably doomed. It's as simple as that. If you keep watching this show, I am making a systematic effort to counter-argue every single one of these stops on the train. You can already start piecing it together by watching my other guests, because different guests will come in and get off at different stops. It's nice to have all the stops laid out, even if I didn't have time to counter-argue them all in this one particular episode. Hope you found this useful. Let's keep referring to this and see how many get knocked down as you keep watching the show. Maybe it'll take hundreds of hours in total, but that's what we're doing here on the show. Hopefully the people in positions of power and the citizens of democratic nations that their politicians listen to, hopefully all the relevant stakeholders will come to their senses, ride to the end of the doom train, not try to get off at any of these stops that I think are ultimately weak, and pull the lever, pull the brakes of the train. Don't just keep letting this train barrel toward doom. It seems like these next few months and years are potentially our last chance to stop it, and I hope that we do. I hope that we give it a shot. Thanks for watching. You can get more of this kind of content if you smack the subscribe button on YouTube or in your podcast player. And I look forward to seeing you next time here on Doom Debates.